I mean, I know a fair bit about it, but
Okay.
there was I don't know, have you ever seen Take Me Out?
Yeah.
So you know
Years ago.
um the host,
Oh, yeah.
I
All
think,
3 of his children
yeah,
have
yeah. So I think
autism.
the documentary, and I was in an
Yeah.
article I was reading, and he was like, no, his wife said when um basically when they went to, I think it was a specialist,
Yeah.
and they got the diagnosis, she was not in denial, but she just didn't like, was like, okay, maybe we to get a second opinion
Okay.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And later on, she actually found out she's got autism as well.
Yeah.
So in the article, they're saying something like it's called like masking. Sometimes maybe
Yeah.
people don't know, or people don't, like, they want to hide it
Mm.
and things like that. So, and I don't know, and I can't say like why, but I always, when I hear things like that, I always think, is it because, and I want to kind of like get your view, is it because maybe it is, I don't think it is, but maybe it's seen as a, like some sort of a stigma
Yeah, definitely. I think
around
it
it.
is.
But I always understand like why. I don't like, in your, of your experience, like, did you ever feel like it was a stigma, or do you feel like you find it hard to understand when people treat it like autism as a stigma?
Yeah, I think it definitely is a stigma. From my experience, I think maybe because I'm African, so like in the African community, I just feel like they just don't talk about disability enough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of seen as like a mental illness, like a bad thing. So like I feel like there's so many parents that are even hiding the fact that their children have autism
Yeah.
because they probably don't want to be shamed because of it. And then it's sad because then the child misses out on like the help that they need and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know, a lot of people just don't talk about it because I think they're embarrassed in a way. I don't know. Like even with me, when I first got, like when I thought that there was something wrong, like it was hard for me to accept as well because I didn't know nothing about autism. I don't have anyone in my family who has autism or anything like that. So like, I don't know, it was a bit hard for me as well. But I think then after you kind of have to just do what's best for your child. So I had no choice but to accept it because without accepting it, I can't get the right help for him. So yeah, I do feel like it's a big issue in like the African community, I would say. I don't know about other communities because I'm African. So yeah, I can only talk on my experience. But even when I speak to people now, like they message me and they're like, oh my gosh, like you're doing such a good thing talking about it. Like I wish I could do it as well. And I'm like, you can do it as well. But they're just like, I'm just not at that stage yet. So I don't know, maybe it's a process. And even when people come to me and say, oh, I think so-and-so's child might have like autism, like, but they're not saying anything. Like they're just, I don't know, branding their child as like a naughty child or stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, some people, it takes time. They're probably just not ready to speak about it yet. But at the same time, I don't know, like your child is then missing out on the help that they need. So it's a tricky one.
Because like, even speaking on what you're saying about this whole idea of not speaking about, especially from a like, especially like a Nigerian, well, yeah, African, but like a Nigerian perspective, I always feel like it's that whole thing of people, or what will people think, and that and what it is, that stems from just in general. Not it's not supposed, it's not necessarily about autism, but for example, you know, typically, oh, if someone's not married by a certain age, if you ain't got kids by a certain, or what will people? So it's kind of like, it's like, I can't say it's on. I don't know what other communities do it, but I can only say with us, it's almost like we create our own. I get it. Some things you want to keep private, and that's fine. It's not to say that you must share everything that's going on, but I feel like with a lot of things, especially typical things like marriage, children, it's almost like, oh, what will people think?
Yeah.
Or I haven't done this by that age old, and it's the same thing. So again, when you're faced with, it's even kind of like with to a degree, like with sickle cell. Like obviously my mum had it, I know people that had it, and it's almost a thing of like people don't understand it, and sometimes when you don't understand something, you maybe something out of ignorance, you label it as something, you sort of like, no, you don't like demonize it, but you just say it as, oh no, we don't want to, this person, you're different, so that means you're just different. You know, you can't integrate with people who are not like how you are. Do you know what I mean? And I remember like a while ago, like there was a family friend sort of thing, and I think it wasn't autism, but I think their child had Asperger's.
Okay.
Asperger's. But I feel like a lot of people in the family kind of knew that there was something up, but I feel like the parents was just dismissing. They wasn't trying to hear anything about, you know, oh, just, and it goes back to what you said, maybe because they don't understand it. They just think, oh, you know, it's different. And in that same article I was talking about, they said something about the diagnosis is like a passport to help, in a sense. That's not what it was word for word, but along them lines, it's like, because the minute you accept the diagnosis, you can now then get help for different things. So I'm sure with autism, there's a lot of resources people can go to, facilities and stuff like that. Like even in your experience, like, so even just like, I want to kind of go, but even when you like, what were the sort of early signs that you noticed, if you noticed that there were signs?
I didn't notice straight away, but like, so when you have a child in the UK anyway, that you have like health review. So you have a review when your child's 1, and then again when they're 2. So I remember one day I went out to dinner with my friends, and 2 of my friends that I was at dinner with, they both work in nurseries. So we were just having like general conversation, and I think at that time, Jermaine, my oldest, he was about 1.5 or something like that. But so he was going to have his review quite soon. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have his review soon. And then I think one of the girls asked, oh, is he talking yet? And I was like, no, not really, you know, he's just saying like mama. And I think he might have said dada once. And then she was like, that doesn't sound right. He should be saying like quite a few words for his age. So I was just like, oh really? Like, because he was my first child, so I didn't know what to expect. So she was like, yeah. So then I spoke to my other friend about it after we had a dinner, and she was like, yeah, don't listen to her. Like, all children are different. But that stayed with me. So then when we had the health review, like that was the one thing I mentioned. I was like, he's not really talking yet. Like, is that an issue? And then if your child's not talking, they just refer them for speech and language therapy.
Yeah.
So they referred him for that, and it didn't really make a difference. He's just still like, he wasn't talking. So like, I don't know, as he was just getting older, I just thought like, this is a bit strange. Like, other children apparently are supposed to be talking. And then it doesn't help when you speak to like elders and they're saying, oh, boys are a bit slower, like girls are faster and stuff like that. So you don't really know what to believe. And I still just didn't even think about autism or nothing like that. So after doing the speech and language therapy, and there was still no progression, then that's when I think at the end of it, then they then said that the next stage would be like a assessment to for autism.
Yeah.
And like, that kind of took me by shock, because I was just like, oh wow, like I didn't expect that. I was still just hanging on to he's going to talk when he's ready. Like some people are, oh, my child didn't speak to the 4, 5, 6 and the rest of it. So I was just like, oh wow. So then that's when I kind of just, I don't know, I think I was still like in a lot of denial though. Even up until he got his diagnosis, I was still like, he's going to speak. And I remember like, I think as the years was going by, he would say like maybe 1 or 2 more words. And that would kind of give me hope, thinking, oh yeah, like he hasn't got anything, like he's talking and stuff like that. But it was still really, really slow progression. Even now he's quite delayed for his age. But sorry, am I going off topic? What was the question again?
You've answered it. I was just sort of saying like, in terms of
that was the signs.
Signs,
So that was basically the only sign. Like, so obviously now that he's going to be 7 soon, there's like, I feel like in the lockdown, so that was 2 years ago, he started stimming. But
what's
so stimming is like, all children are different, but his stimming was basically, he would like run around the room. So he'd like run around in circles, but he would have no awareness. So it would be like he was in trance, like he's in another world. Like I'd be looking at him, he won't even be like focusing on me or anyone else in the room. He was just running around, and sometimes he would bump into things. And I remember at that time he was about, I think, 3.5, and I'd moved back to my mum's house. So it was me, him, and by then I had another child now, a baby, and we was all in my old bedroom. So like, and you know how the lockdown was, you was literally just locked in your house, you couldn't go nowhere. So I felt like that condition of what we was how he was living kind of brought that out of him. And yeah, so that was the only other sign that I saw. And then obviously I'd seen other children by then. I was doing more research. I'd see like the hand flapping and shaking their heads and like the noises and stuff, but he never done all them kind of things. Like it was just the delayed speech and then the stimming that came later on. So I'd say those were the only signs. So even now when people ask me, oh, like, what was the signs? Like, what did you say? I'm like, it was mainly the speech for me, but I know that other children, like they have early signs quite on, and it's the stimming, the hand flapping and the noises and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the only signs really.
Yeah, that's interesting, because, you know, like even with lockdown, it forced everyone to literally stay in, but also you notice a lot more because you're around your family. So like, would you say lockdown, like in a way, helped you to understand his autism a lot better, or if not like more? compared to before?
Not understand it, probably just notice it.
Yeah.
So because now, like at that time as well, I don't think I was going into work either. So I was just at home with both the kids in my room, just locked in my room. So he was stimming a lot. He wasn't speaking. And when I was trying to speak to him, I'd noticed he just wouldn't speak back. So I think it was just, I just noticed it a lot more because of the kind of condition we was in. I think maybe if I was going to work, and at that time I was nursing, so I was doing long hours, I was coming back and I was like seeing him when I was going into work, like seeing him at night or early in the morning, I probably wouldn't have noticed it as much. But because I was at home with him, I did notice that obviously he wasn't talking still and he's getting older.
Yeah.
And now he's stimming. So I was just like, okay, maybe there is something wrong.
But that's the thing, because I don't like, I don't know, like, I mean, even when I'm growing up, I don't know at what age I started talking properly. Because again, like, so some people say, oh, some children talk later. You just don't think nothing. And it's crazy, especially there's a lot of awareness now of autism. So you mentioned the the hand flap and the speech delay, and sometimes like you wouldn't really think that's nothing because maybe you're not aware. And I guess like so that when people was telling you, oh, I never mind, it's just a thing. In a sense, like I feel like they're not wrong. Maybe they just don't know in it sometimes.
Yeah,
innit?
no, it's true. Actually, that actually does make sense. And I do feel like now, even though it's good to have awareness, I do feel like it's made everyone so much more paranoid. So like even with my younger son,
Yeah.
I just watch everything that he does. So then like, but he was delayed, but then it was hard to tell whether he was just copying his brother or if there was something also like, I don't want to say wrong, but if there was also like maybe autism with him as well. So like even now, even though he's talking and everything and my older son's talking, he's also on the pathway to have an assessment because I just want to rule it out. Like I feel like it just makes you so paranoid to the point where obviously I share a lot on social media and people message me all the time. Like I think, what did someone say? I can't remember. It was the most random question, but it didn't have anything to do with autism. I think it was an ear infection or something like that. And they asked me if their child has autism because of that. And I was just like, no, your child probably just has an ear infection and you should take them to the GP. But it's making people so paranoid because they're literally watching, they're seeing stuff on the internet and then they're watching everything their child's doing. And some children are a bit like I don't know, later to walk. Like someone said, oh, my child is late walking, my child's still not walking. But my older brother didn't walk till he was 2 and he's not autistic. Do you know what I mean? So it's true what you're saying. Like some children do take a bit longer to do things. But at the same time, I think you do still also have to kind of just be aware of your child's development as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. It like, do you know what it is? Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that I kind of appreciate about. I'm sure you probably can relate as well. Like especially with African communities and non communities, it's very like close knit, which is nice because you always have like people who look out for you. Like if it's not your mum, and like even with me, like obviously my parents split a long time ago, but I never felt like I didn't have like a good family support. There's always like, oh, the auntie there, one uncle there, so grandparents and stuff. So it always felt great. And a lot of the time, you almost feel like they kind of watch you grow up. They watch your life. So they the typical thing I said earlier. Oh, when you're gonna get married, or if you haven't brought girlfriend or boyfriend around yet, or it's what's the matter? It's like they don't. You know what I mean, and sometimes it's cool, but sometimes it's like okay, I hear it. Just like just like relax a little bit. Let me just and the reason why I said this is because like in finding out your eldest had autism, like, and of course I can imagine the family around you. Oh my gosh, like what is this? Like how it's like they're panicking, but at the same time, it doesn't help. Like I imagine it doesn't help you. So how did you kind of deal with like the family opinions of autism when you sort of told them, oh, like your oldest has
I don't know.
autism?
I think in the process of like getting a diagnosis and stuff, I didn't really speak to anyone much about it. So it was only kind of like, I think I was still living with my family. So it was only really like the family that knew what was going on. And even that, I didn't really speak to them much about it. Maybe my mum sometimes, but not anyone else. So they may have probably just been aware from maybe seeing him maybe at family parties and stuff that he was still not speaking, but I didn't say to them that he was in the process of like getting a diagnosis for autism. But I think it was the opposite. Like I remember, because at that time, I think before he got his diagnosis, I started my YouTube channel and I started talking about like delayed speech and things like that. Then I remember when I got his diagnosis, I think I posted a video and said, yeah, like he's got a diagnosis now. And I was in like a group chat with like my cousins and stuff like that. And I posted a link. But I think, you know, when you're in a group chat, you can see in it when people have read. So I seen like most of them, the majority of them had like read the link, but no one had responded or said anything. And then I think I can't remember what I said, but I think it was something rude. And then I just left the chat. And then one of my cousins phoned me, and then they was just like, they just don't know what to say. So it was the opposite. Like, but I don't know if maybe because they're younger, they're not the aunties and stuff. They didn't know what to say. And I think at that time, I mean, I was probably just angry still at the diagnosis and things like that. And I took it out on them. But yeah, like they didn't really say anything. It was more like they didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to support me. With aunties and stuff, I think when they found out, they were quite supportive, actually. I think my mum's sister, she messaged me just to say, like, everything will be all right with him. And it's true, everything will be all right. It doesn't really change much, do you know what I mean? Like, still my child, still love him the same way. But yeah, like, I don't think I really got any ignorant comments from, like, family. I would say it would be more maybe the aunties that aren't really my aunties, if you get what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
The ones that always have a lot to say, because it's never directly, they don't get impacted. And so literally they would just say the
exactly,
most,
So, and I think, I don't know if they knew, I don't know, I guess maybe their ignorance, they didn't really pay attention, but it would be like stuff like maybe going to church, and I don't know if you know anything about like white garment churches, but they take ages.
I've been a few times.
Okay, are you Nigerian? Okay. They take forever. And I remember I used to always go with my mum, because you know they would do the whole bring them to church, like pray for them and stuff like that.
Did you ever used to bring like fruits?
Yeah.
I don't know why that was a thing, you know.
I don't get it either, honestly.
And the bare feet. I was younger, so I didn't get a lot.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like my church, but I remember like staying at my cousins. So I would just go with them, and they was like, so babe, this is what you gotta do. You can't wear your shoes. Yeah, and you gotta bring. But I was younger.
Can't wear black on. It's too much.
So I didn't get it. But sorry,
So obviously, like I remember I used to go to church with my mum quite a lot, and like it starts at like 10, doesn't finish till like 6 some days. And the thing is that like these kids obviously they can't sit still. So they were young at the time. Like I think Jamal was about maybe 4 or 5 and Joel was about 2. And like they would moan if they were like having snacks and stuff. But I'm like, we're literally doing like a full day of work here. Like we're here from morning to the evening, and you're moaning and stuff. And then I think they would just get agitated as the time goes past, and they would start like running around like kids do. And then some of the aunties would just say like some rude things. And I remember one day I snapped, and I was like, I think she must have said that he's so naughty, he needs a slap or something like that. And I was like, he's not naughty, he's autistic. And then she was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. But my thing with that is, even when people talk about how like they're in a supermarket and people make ignorant comments and stuff, and then when they say their child's autistic, then the person quickly changes their it shouldn't have to come to that. Like you shouldn't be trying to I don't know, discipline someone else's child or putting in your 2 pence in public. Do you know what I mean? It's just not on.
No, that's the thing, because even regardless of that, you should, when you're saying you deserve a slap, it's regardless of autism or not, you've already like, listen, that's your friend, someone's
exactly,
child. So you shouldn't even been
I know
doing that anyway.
But like, I think African aunties, they don't think like that. That's the thing, because obviously the way we grew up, and they felt like I guess some of our parents allowed these aunties to feel like they had the right to discipline us.
But now,
it doesn't run. Do you know what I mean? You can't do that. And then I think that was my last time ever going back. I haven't been back since. I was like, I refused. Like my mum always tries to get me to come, and I'm just like, no, because they don't have no behaviour. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna, even in terms of like just going to a Pentecostal church or any other kind of church, I'm just like, what kind of churches like I don't know, like how would they support me with my autistic child? Do you know what I mean? Like, because if he wants to kind of run around and stuff, is that everyone gonna like turn around and start looking at him and stuff like that? So I would rather just sit at home on the Sunday, honestly.
But see, that's not that, you shouldn't follow like that.
I know.
And because obviously I went to this, like I said, I went to the white garment church for like, I guess maybe like, I think it was like 3 or 4 times, can't remember. And then ever since, it's just been the Baptist church.
Okay.
And I remember when I was younger, I used to go to Sunday school and stuff, and when would sit down like hearing the word and stuff, hearing the sermon, there's always like this woman and her son, and her son used to kind of like make a lot of noises and stuff,
Okay.
and just by the time I didn't think nothing. I just thought, okay, maybe the kid just wants to like play and
Yeah.
stuff. And majority of the time, the mum is always like going to the back, and sometimes her patience seemed so crazy because literally sometimes I can see the not frustration, but I can see this is
It's
like
a lot.
it's getting too much, and
Yeah.
she's not trying to disturb the conversation. But luckily, our church wasn't a thing of like, oh, can you just shut that kid up? It wasn't that kind of
Okay,
thing.
that's
So
good.
pastor was always like, yeah, no, it's fine, like it's kids, it's
Yeah.
kids. And then I remember a few years after, my aunt was telling me, oh, like he had I don't know what it was. I don't want to say autism, but it was something. I think
Okay.
it was also he was also neurodivergent as well.
Okay.
But like interesting. The reason why I mentioned that because I feel like there needs to be a lot more like support. But luckily at that time there was a lot of understanding.
Okay.
And even though people didn't really understand what it is, and I
Yeah.
think that's the point ideally we should be at now, where like, okay, cool, you don't understand this. It's not about, oh, you look different, or you look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say, like, when like I don't know, when you was younger, like you see someone different and your parents were like, don't stare, don't stare.
Yeah.
Like I remember like from early, like, okay, don't stare, don't make anyone feel
Yeah.
different, because but I feel like there's a lot of things that society doesn't cater for, like, so it's like you have to kind of like make your own avenue, or like I would say what you're doing with your TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you necessarily like went to different outlets and be like, right, this is, but like that's a platform where you're raising awareness, because a lot of the time, like in that white garment church, and obviously she's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know, but it's like, well,
You shouldn't have to come to that.
do you know what I mean? And you shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm gonna chill on a Sunday because
I know, yeah.
people are
I know.
like,
And then I've got friends and family that keep trying to like invite me to church, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm all right, because I just don't want to. They just don't understand how I feel. Do you know what I mean? Even though like even down to, I think one of like a friend invited me to like cinema, like it was like during the week, and she was like, yeah, we're all going to cinema with our kids, and it was late. And I remember that day, like both of the kids were just on one day, just been having meltdowns constantly after school. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna come because they've been having meltdowns, and I just don't want him to do it in public. And she was just like, oh, like don't ever feel away, like to bring them out and stuff. And like I understand that, but like she doesn't get how I feel in that moment. Do you know what I mean? It's literally, you just want the ground to swallow you, because it's like, it can be, I shouldn't say embarrassing, but it can be, because everyone just stops and stares, and it's just like, oh. And I don't want to have to do the whole explanation over and over again. Like, oh, like, sorry, he's autistic. So yeah.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing. I like I said, I rate what you do, but even like you saying that's quite, it's like quite sad to hear that you feel like you've got to sort of, oh, okay, can I go here? Can I go, like,
Yeah,
and like, but in terms of that, what like I guess for you, well, I'm not a parent, but I guess as a parent, there are no days off in a sense where you can just switch off. But like being a parent and also being a parent with someone who has autism, like how do you not like switch off, but just take it like a mental breather, like do something for you where you can just have like, whether it's an hour, 2 hours during a day, or a couple hours during the week, where like, listen, let me just, it's Rebecca time, let me just focus, do my thing, and for a few minutes. Do you ever get like that?
Yeah, definitely, like weekends, nights out with my friends, like I have to have me time. I'm so big on that. Even when I speak to other parents, I'm like, and then I can tell like the frustration in their voice. I'm like, you need some respite. You need some time for yourself, because it gets overwhelming. And like with me, like I'm not with my kids' dad, so they go to their dads like every 2 weeks on the weekend, and that's just my time. And I'll just literally, I either go out or sometimes I'll just chill indoors. And then even in regards to like during the week when they're with me, like after they've gone to bed, even if it's like 9 or 10 o'clock, they are in bed like quite early though. But even if they've had like a late night, I always make sure I stay up, which is probably sometimes too late. But I have to have that me time, because I know I do so much during the day. So like I think going out with my friends, just socializing and just having that me time is so important. Just to recharge.
Yeah, it's good, because I even tell like some of like my friends who've got kids. One of my good friends, she's got like a boy and a girl. And I was like, oh yeah, something like, like if you ever need help, like me and one of the other guys, we'll babysit for you, stuff like that.
That's
because
nice.
It's like just take time for yourself. And
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know what it's like, but I always feel like I always say to, listen, you're a good mum, man. Like, not to, I'm sure she knows that, but sometimes you know what, like, because she'll tell me something like, oh yeah, I'm just putting the kids down, oh, I'm just doing this, and it's a lot. I can imagine it's a lot to deal with, like, Do you know what I mean? I remember one time I had one of my little cousins for like a couple of hours, and I was like, yeah, this is. I'm not like,
They're a handful,
I'm
aren't
tired.
they?
I'm tired already. Like, but
They
it's
got
like,
so much
you
energy.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like a constant thing. But I always say, like, don't do this. Maybe it's a bit cheeky for me saying, because I'm not a parent, but I feel like don't do this whole I'm a strong parent, I'm a strong woman.
It takes a
Listen,
village.
like, just be if you need time to de-stress, because you're not gonna get no prizes for, like, when the kids were growing up, I'd made sure that I was always there. I didn't take no time for myself.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and I don't say that just about like with our parents' generation, it was almost like but like there was like blood, sweat, and tears, and not in a cheeky way. I don't want to, God willing, forever, because I don't want to be like, listen, like, I did this, I did this, so and I'm always gonna obviously carve out time for my well-being, like, because at the end of the day, you're human first, of course. Like, people who are like, who's a mother, you understand, you're a mother, but listen, you've got to get down for yourself, and this is quite sensitive, so I'm gonna just add like a trigger warning. And I'm not sure if this was the case, but I remember there was an article I read about this lady. I think she killed herself, basically. I think it was a few weeks. I think her and the child. And I was reading it, and a lot of people was like, "Oh, like poor child, like,
Is it the lady with the bills? Was it in the lockdown?
Yeah.
That was sad.
And I was thinking like, damn, like, obviously I don't know the ins and outs, but but what really struck me was when people were like, oh well, like, again, this is sensitive. I don't want to say it in a crazy way.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, she's selfish. Why does she have to take that?
Oh,
kid?
yeah.
And stuff like that. But you
don't know until you're in that position, though.
It's sad though, man. Like, and again, I don't know if she was necessarily like a struggling mother, but it's just, I think from what I read, it seemed like that she was struggling.
Yeah.
She was by herself.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, I'm not saying she was worn out. Like, we don't know, but I can imagine like the tolls of just being a parent. Then you got the tolls of just life in general.
Yeah.
Like, so for you, like, like, it's good that you have time, like, to carve out, and because those things literally, like, it's not a joke, man. Like,
it's not. And I do feel like, in terms of what you mentioned about some women just trying to do it all on their own and doing the whole strong thing, I do feel like it's like a Black woman thing. Like, I don't know, if I'm talking from my experience, I do feel like people have this perception that like Black women are strong and things like that. And I feel like even in terms of talking out about autism, there's been like few people that said, oh, like, even sometimes my mum has said, oh, like, why are you putting that online and this online and stuff like that? Because I don't know, in our community, everything just needs to be hidden. Don't talk about anything that's like quote unquote negative. But like, I just, like you said, you don't get no prize for doing it all on your own. Do you know what I mean? You might feel fulfilled, but it does take a village. And I do it as well sometimes. Like, when there's a lot of stuff on and I feel overwhelmed, I just get on with it. I don't ask anyone for help. I just get on with it. And I do feel like a lot of Black women, they do that, but I feel like we need to speak out more and say, if we do have people around us, because some people don't actually have anyone, which is so sad, but if you do have people around you who are willing to help, like you said, you offered your friend like to babysit her kids, and that's like lovely. And I'm sure there's loads of us that would help people around us out, do you know what I mean? But like, I just feel like we're not psychic. If you don't say what's going on, sometimes we're not going to know. People are really good at hiding what's going on with them as well. So I'm not perfect, but I do try now to kind of speak up more, like to my friends and stuff. Like, I wouldn't really ask them to like babysit or anything like that. But sometimes like, I just want to rant. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I might ring my friend, I might be on the phone to her for an hour, and I might just moan about everything that's kind of happened with the kids and stuff that week or that day. And I feel better. It's therapeutic for me to talk about stuff, because I know that I see quotes sometimes on social media about, it's good to be private or stuff like that, and don't talk about everything and things like that. And I feel like sometimes, just shut up. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, like, until you're in someone's situation and what they're going through, like, some of us, this is therapeutic for us to like just speak about what we're going through. And it's not like, I don't know, well, if people want to talk about crap online, that's their prerogative. Do you know what I mean? But if we're talking about things that are important, things that awareness needs to be brought, do you know what I mean? I don't see what's wrong with that. So...
But it's true. And you know, it was crazy, like, because I see those things about, I get it. You don't, the thing is, what you're putting online, you've chosen to put online. So but people take, you're doing too much. But a lot of the time, people it's crazy, and this might be a bit of a segue, but I remember, what's her name? That DJ Copy.
Yeah.
Everyone was surprised, like, oh, like
Oh,
you're
that she's engaged.
engaged
Oh,
in it,
yeah.
but it's like, because when she just puts, oh yeah, I'm DJing here, I'm
Yeah.
my mum with the family, there's nothing about, oh,
Yeah, she
I'm
doesn't put
with
her.
someone, so
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people are just thinking, oh, like she's probably single, but so again, it's like people choose what they want to put online, but I feel like this whole people say like, oh, listen, I don't post nothing, and I get, listen, if you're not posting nothing, that's fine, but this
Yeah.
whole like, I don't need no one, I don't need, like, listen, you're not gonna get no prizes. No one's gonna be like, listen, well done for holding down, but it's nothing. And I feel like I said that because, when I dealt with like grief, one thing that I had a lot of support. There was a lot of people there. People, like, it was so crazy, like, to the point where like all we had to do, me and my sister, is just basically choose my mum's coffin and what we're gonna dress her in. And even at that, we didn't even pay for that.
Really?
So my point is, I'm not saying like it's about money, but my point is that that's how much support there were. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm grateful, because at the time it wasn't good for me financially at the time. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It felt even crazy asking my friends, listen, I might need you guys for help. But at the time, I felt a bit, oh, this is mad. I'm like, I feel like I'm at rock bottom. Like
Yeah.
people might be feeling sorry for me, but I know about now. Listen, I don't have no shame, man.
Yeah,
Because
honestly.
I know without that support and God, like, I feel literally, I don't know how things will be looking. So listen, support you need it, man.
Yeah.
Like, and even like with people, some of my friends who have kids, listen, don't like take time out for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, again, I know I can't. There's only so much I can speak on, but I feel like, listen, same way like someone knows, listen, take time for yourself, because the thing, surprising thing about life, like, and we kind of tend to do this thing, oh, that person seems fine, they're cool, and then we hear like devastating news of like suicide, for example.
Yeah.
You think, what, like, but how, like, that they just seemed chill, they seemed fine, like, so our mental health is important. Like, it's not
So
something to
important.
be taken for granted, like, or even like, again, back to your voice, I think we do it ourselves with this like strong black woman, strong black man. I don't need no. But listen, the times when it's gonna get a bit not rough, but it's gonna be hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can like fool yourself and say, oh, I don't need no one, but when you break down, like, it's not. Yeah, you need support, basically, is what I'm saying. And I feel like we don't. I don't know. It's just maybe just our community. I don't know why, because it's always like, what will people think?
Yeah.
I don't want people to think
And
of
I
me a certain
don't
way.
blame certain people, because then they shame you for it as well, don't they? Like if you do break down online or whatever, I don't know, if you break down to the person, they could, like, I don't know, support you in person and then talk about you behind your back. You see people online all the time saying, oh, like, this one was crying online, and this, do you know what I mean? So they do shame people as well for speaking up.
Yeah.
So I don't blame people for obviously maybe not feeling comfortable to ask for help or to speak up about what they're going through. But you just have to do what's, like, anyone's going to make you feel like that is not right for you anyway, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, but I think and online is a scary place, because people
it is
are
a scary
wild.
place,
People just say some like
because
the
they just hide
wildest
behind their
stuff,
screens, don't they?
and it's
They're
like,
just trolls.
even when it's something like you're doing something constructive, even if you're someone who's on Twitter, you're just on Shade Bro almost every day. Listen, that's your business. But like, at least okay, you're doing something positive. You're raising awareness on autism, so that's positive. That is something that, how can you be saying someone, oh, like, you're doing the most? Like, no.
And honest, I don't know. I think people are just trolls. Like I've had a few people saying, "Oh, you're just using your child for views." I'm just like,
What?
okay, yeah.
What did you say back?
I just ignore now. Before I just used to just type back and
But
cuss and
that
stuff
person,
like that.
was it a grey profile? Like, was it a
Yeah.
grey profile? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's always...
that's what I said. They hide behind their screens because, like, I'm not. That's the thing. I don't even need to explain myself, because I don't need to. Like, I get so many messages all the time about how my videos are helping other people with how to deal with their situation and giving them hope in terms of, like, my son. I didn't think he'd ever speak, and now he's having conversations with me. So I know what it does for other people. So someone hiding behind their little grey box, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? If you're gonna say I'm using my child for views, all right, whatever. The first few times, I'm not gonna lie, it did get to me. It made me think, oh my gosh, like, am I, like? And then you have some people that say, oh, like, even parents that have autistic children that will also say, oh, I don't choose to post certain things about my child because I have to think about what they're going to think in future if they see that online. And I do understand that, but obviously I'm not going to post like really, really negative things about my child. Like sometimes I might post when he has a meltdown just to show other people it is all right. If your child's having a meltdown, this is what it looks like if they have autism, and it is all right for them to have meltdowns and how to deal with them situations. And also for people who have neurotypical children, like quote unquote normal, that haven't got autism, for them to understand that when we're out in public, don't shame us for our children having these meltdowns.
Yeah.
So it's only to bring awareness. I'm not doing it to like take the mick out of my child or like to show him in a negative way. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it to help other people. So if people are going to say I'm using my child for views, that's their business.
But you know what's mad? And I know you're not, but even so what?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Listen, everyone uses social media for something. We may not know, but this is the thing. That's what you shouldn't do. Oh, I'm gonna just like, if you're gonna hide behind it. Obviously, I'm not trying to be like people should be violent, but if you're gonna hide behind, but in person, you're not gonna do that.
No, exactly.
You're not gonna come to you and say,
no,
listen,
definitely won't.
You won't do it. Because either one or two things. You either, I don't know, you might get slapped. You might get a serious verbal. So again, you're not gonna do that. And I feel like a lot of the time, people shouldn't make you feel, oh damn, like maybe are they right? Like, or they, and I know you said before, because initially it was getting to you. So like from when it was sort of getting to you till now where you're accepting more, what did you do to like make that change? Like to
I think it was just the amount of messages I get from parents always coming to me saying how much my videos are helping them.
Yeah.
I think that's just what made me deep. Like, nah, these other little trolls, they don't matter. Do you know what I mean? Because the comparison, I'd say maybe like I've got 3 messages like the whole time, and I've been posting videos for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Compared to like the hundreds of messages that I've got from parents. So I just thought, okay, cool. Like, obviously these people, and the fact that it's not even real, like they're real people, but they're hiding behind screens. It's not even like they're people with like proper profiles of pictures and stuff like that. So it just shows that they're just like, yeah, they're not important. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, quickly, I just thought, yeah, they don't matter. Like, so I carried on, and I'm going to carry on whether they like it or not. So there's always going to be trolls though anyway. And it's even the same as like, you know, when people say, oh, I don't post pictures of my kids online, I cover their face and things like that. What I don't understand is why can't people just do what they want to do? But what I do, why can't you just mind your business? Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm choosing to post pictures or videos of my child online, like I'm not putting them like naked or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what's the problem? Like, I don't get when people have an issue with what other people do. Like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Okay, you don't have to do that, but I choose to do it. So we're all different. We all choose to do different things.
And even with that, and this is the thing, if you are posting your kids online, there are people who are moving mad. Those are people we need
exactly,
because I'm not saying it's post your kids for bait, but trust me, those people who are doing the mad stuff, they're the ones that we need to really know. And it's not even a thing of like expose a troll, but that person right there, that person is this.
Those are the ones, you need to be.
They're not right in there, because there's no way you can look at a kid and think anything violent or anything just horrible like that.
Exactly.
Something is not right. Right there. And I get some people when the people do the whole, oh, my kid's going back to school, like, so people usually
the uniform. The blow out the uniform.
No, I get that. Because there's some people
I get that.
Are sickos, like people, you know, and kids are kids. Kids are innocent. They don't know what's, they might be at the gate looking for mommy and daddy, and they see one guy. Oh, the guy's like, yeah, mommy knows I come to pick you up, and you're thinking, nah, and her teacher's like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like, so those things need to be safeguarded. Like, and I think it's important to tell kids, look, if it's not me or this person, if someone's trying to grab you, scream. Even
with that stuff, I always worry, because obviously we're like, the kids are so vulnerable. It's like, how do you even explain that to them? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's stuff that I worry about all the time. But no, like, you have to be so safe, because people are wild and dangerous on the internet. Ever since, like, there was a girl on social media that I don't know how the man figured out where she lived. Like, it was one of her fans, and he came to her apartment and he killed her. So I always get scared.
Well, this was a little girl?
No, not like a maybe, I don't know. She was maybe in her 20s, like a young woman. Yeah, in America. In America, yeah. I don't know if it happened last year or a few years ago, but that really scared me.
I think I know which one. Was it her ex-boyfriend or something?
I'm not sure. I don't know who it was. But it was definitely someone, like, I don't think she
Yeah, I
knew.
think I know there's a story where like someone literally, what I think was, I don't know, was he tracking her, but she got killed. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
it's scary. Even when, like, sometimes I'll go on live, like TikTok and stuff, and like, let's say I'm going on a night out and people ask, oh, where are you going? I'm just like girls in the comments, and I'll be like, I can't even tell you, because I don't, there's always like men acting weird in the comments, and I'm just like, nah, they're crazy. If I say where I'm going and then someone just turns up, do you know what I mean? You never know. So
yeah.
you have to be so careful.
People were mad, but also that thing of, because like you're putting stuff out there,
Mm.
everyone like then feels, okay, I can ask you this and ask
I
you that.
know, yeah.
Like, but you know, because I said this a while ago, I think with the whole social media thing, I just used to use it freely, but now it's almost a thing of like the whole thing. Okay, don't post in real time. Like I kind of,
Yeah, I can kind of
yeah,
get that
I
now.
kind of get
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Even at nights out, I don't really post. I don't post like my location. Not like I'm a celebrity or anything, but you just don't know
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
watching. Do you know what I mean? I remember there was one guy that was following me on TikTok, and he figured out where I lived from one of my posts. Yeah,
What?
like my building, everything. And ever since then, that's made me so paranoid to like not post like when
Wait,
I'm
so he
outside.
came up to you?
No. He messaged me and he said, "Do you live in so and so?" And I was like,
What?
"Oh my gosh! Like, wow, how did you figure that?" And he was once said to me, "Stop posting like outside where you live, because it's like it's so obvious."
But why is he? Why? But then why is he okay? Like what? Like,
No, it's so
why?
wild.
You say
Honestly,
don't post, but why are you tracking someone's? Like,
honestly.
what did you like ask him like what are you doing? Why?
No, I didn't. Because I was just so shocked. I was thinking, oh, like what? Like, how did you figure it
Do you
out?
know what it
Like,
is? Yeah, I feel like this is what I'm saying. Like that's weird.
I know
Like that's
exactly.
even even someone told me like literally, basically they gave someone a guy their number,
Yeah.
but it was a fake one.
Okay.
But somehow the guy found out the real one. So he
How?
must have been that digits.
What?
Do you?
That
That's
no.
not.
What?
You
That's
see? Nah.
crazy.
That's and the thing is, yeah. You see when you see those films where like I don't want to maybe I don't know if weirdos is the right term to
Yeah.
use here, but when like you see like people like I've seen you.
Yeah.
Like he was moving
Strange.
mad.
Yeah.
Like just like camping out at their house, all the sort. Like those something is not right. And sometimes
Yeah.
signs like that, I'm sorry, you need to like literally you should not be near
Yeah.
anyone,
I
because
know.
that is
Yeah.
weird
I know
behavior.
exactly.
And the thing is online it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, because we can see how like when it comes to bad things happening in the world, people are quick to gather online.
Oh
Same
yeah.
George Floyd, that was one big
Yeah.
example. I think it was what's the other one? Was it the Sarah Everard?
With the policeman.
No, was Sarah Everard? Was that a more thing that got traction online?
Yeah, I'd say loads of people spoke up about it, because then women started saying how unsafe they'd feel if a policeman was to stop them.
Yeah. And so I feel like a lot of the time it's great to see like these things happen, but on the flip side, yeah, there's so much. There's
Oh
like a
yeah,
dark
I
side where
know.
people are
There
like
is.
tracking addresses, trying to track kids, like
It's
finding IP
crazy.
addresses, like all this. And again, it's not no one's fault, because we should be able to post, but we have to.
This is it.
Okay, you gotta be careful now, like where you
You
like,
do have to be so
like,
so careful.
and it's not like a thing of, because people say often with celebrities, even in America, that celebrity that got shot, and they were saying because the girlfriend put
Oh, okay,
location
yeah.
and stuff like that. But even that's
She should have been able to just do that freely. Like, she
yeah.
shouldn't have to even feel any way. Because, like, it's the people that done it should be held accountable, not because do you know what I mean? I understand they're celebrities and stuff, but why shouldn't they be allowed to just go out somewhere and post where they are without people, like, do you know what I mean? Thinking that they
Yeah.
get their life taken. That's not fair.
But I get it though. That's why I'm saying not posting in real life, because
Yeah.
people, and it's just other stuff as well. Like people like, I don't know. There's been a lot of people getting robbed, like they like watches and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's been happening quite a lot. Like
Oh, okay.
there was this guy. I think this was around like the Chelsea area.
Okay.
This guy, him and his wife, just walking. I think they were going home. This was in the afternoon, for context,
Oh, wow.
afternoon. And these people on mopeds came, with handbags. It was like, oh, do like give me the watch, and a bit.
But how did they like? How would they know?
They're just.
Do you think would be like a setup thing? Because like, how did you
Yeah.
just randomly know?
I think what they do is like maybe they spot, because I think like they're probably spotting it, and maybe like they're conversing. Okay, this guy's, and if someone they probably know their watches. They're like, okay, this is probably Rolex certain. That's 40. So let's track it, or let's, because there's a guy in Westfield, Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah.
He got robbed in a car park. He said they robbed his 15K watch,
Oh my gosh.
and like. That's crazy, like. So of course these people they're plotting somehow.
Yeah, I saw a video on TikTok actually the other day of a guy getting robbed, literally, and I think it was two guys. They came up to him on a moped, and they were pushing him against, like, there was someone in the car, and they were pushing him against the car, and I think one of them had, I'm not sure if it was a knife or something, and then the other one took the watch off. Then they went away, and then after you see him walking off, and then I think he's trying to phone the police, and then the person in the car just drives off. And then in the comments, loads of people's like, oh, why didn't the person in the car do something? And I'm just like, but in that situation, if you see someone with a knife, I don't think a lot of people would get involved to help a stranger. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, you're trying to gamble.
Yeah.
Nah. And it's the thing, like, I heard people comments that, oh, like, but why are they wearing that watch?
But they should be, they bought it though.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if like, and this is the thing, I don't know what you think. Yeah, I always feel like so that people often say, okay, those who brandish their watch online and stuff, and they get robbed, it's like, well, it's your fault because you were.
Oh, like stunting.
Yeah,
okay.
But I don't know. Do you feel like it? Like, what's like your view on that?
I don't know, because I just feel like, I don't know. It's like when people get new cars, they kind of I don't want to say show off, but like you want to show it off, don't you? You got a new car. I don't know. Like that's the whole. I'm not gonna say that's the whole reason, but you've worked hard. You've got that thing. You want to show it off. Like, why shouldn't you be able to show it off online without someone coming to rob your stuff? Do you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know. I don't really agree with that.
Yeah, no,
I do think though, because like I had this conversation with one of my friends, and he was saying how certain guys that go to certain events where they might know that certain kind of people are going to be there, let's say hood, for example, I do feel like you're kind of setting yourself up for that. If you know that certain people are going to be there who might want to rob you, then and you're wearing a watch that costs that much, then maybe you shouldn't wear your most expensive watch that day. Do you know what I mean? Maybe wear a cheaper one. I don't know.
But there's a lot of like evil eye, because even like one thing I'm noticing is not that it's started to happen quite recently, but especially footballers being targeted.
Oh yeah, I see that with him. Sterling
they
got
get
robbed.
targeted a lot, and
that just makes me think: how did they know he lived there? Do you know what I mean? Is that a setup?
But do you know what it is? And this is the scary thing, because they probably know, like, okay, he's away at the World Cup, so probably.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. These people are sickos
because they probably kids and a girlfriend.
They probably feel like, I know he plays for Chelsea. Chelsea's around this, because a lot of the time, most of these players, they might play for some clubs, but they don't actually live in that area. So like, you might find that, okay, Raheem Sterling plays for Chelsea, but he lives in Surrey. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so maybe some of them, I don't know how, they somehow like clock, okay, he's gonna be there, his kids are gonna be away. Because Ian Wright had the same thing as well a while back. I think it was a couple World Cups ago.
Yeah.
He was out in I'm not sure what country it was, but they robbed his house.
Oh wow.
Like, and there was one footballer, because he actually told a story on a podcast. Like he was like driving, like I think driving somewhere, and I noticed that there was a car behind him. Like normally he looked at it, I thought maybe, okay, we're just going the same way.
Yeah.
But they kept following him, and he stopped at a traffic light. And the minute he stopped, they like a couple guys came out of the car, like basically like had a knife, like give me the watch.
Oh my gosh.
He says now he's got so much PTSD, like he has security. He has to he doesn't hardly go anywhere by himself, because just in case, even when he's in shops, he's like always eating, he's like just looking at, and it's sad, man.
Yeah, that is sad. They have to live like that.
Like it's, and it's not, again, people don't actually know, like, oh yeah, this person earns this amount, but they know they earn money. They just know because you just know, innit? Do you know what I mean?
They do, yeah. It's like Money May was saying, Money May, the influencer, she got robbed, I think, with their all, like, I don't know if it was like watches and stuff, but I know they robbed quite a lot of designer stuff from her last home, and they obviously moved and stuff. And she was saying in one of her recent videos how like she just doesn't like buy that many expensive things anymore. And I was just thinking, that's so sad to think that she can't buy certain things that she can afford just because they might potentially get robbed again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's the thing. That's what's sad though, because a lot of the time, it's not just something that is like one race. Just in general, people just, you know, like it's hard right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard right now. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's an excuse, but people are just like, you don't know who's plotting, man. You don't know. So I get the whole, don't post like in real time, even on your holidays. Some of you might guess where you are.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the whole post thing was just like, it's a flex thing, innit? Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's not really like, you don't really care. It's just
Yeah.
because I'm at this place, innit? So you do it. But yeah, you should feel that you can do that. But we just know, listen, and it's not about being celebs. Like, we're not celebs, but
Yeah.
you just don't know what can happen. Like, God forbid you're at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
That is like the biggest, like, mad thing. Was that your fault?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's cool.
Okay.
So it's like, no, sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say, you know how you said, it's hard right now. That's true, but it's like, you know, when you think, okay, someone that's coming to steal someone's Rolex, do you think that they're potentially going to use that money to go feed their like their wife and kids though? Or are they gonna wear that watch now? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Like when they're like, what are their intentions behind it? Because it's like, if someone, for example, goes into a supermarket, a mother, she's quite poor and she wants to go steal milk for her child.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I can understand that.
Yeah.
But then you going to steal someone's Rolex, like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? This is the thing, and I'm not condoning stealing yet, but in this economy, if you're stealing, and what you're stealing, you're not going to use it for your necessities, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying this right, but it's like, literally, if you're going to steal a £15,000 watch just to go and, I don't know, buy something else that's material.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot anyway for doing that, but you're an idiot because why, like, in the cost of living, and you're not even thinking about, I need to eat.
Yeah.
You rather starve and just to go get. So it's like you're doing it. You're doing it backwards.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean?
It's about
like it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. Like I feel like it's a bit of a jungle, man. Like usually people, but I don't know if it's the same. Like I can't imagine another girl going to steal another girl's like bag. I don't know. Like,
it happens. And watches as well.
No, but as in a violent way, as in like.
Okay, yeah, probably not in a actually, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't know, because I saw a video on TikTok. I don't know if it was in America, and they like run up on them on, like, I think, and then the girls had guns or something. And I was just like, America's different. I couldn't imagine that happening here in the UK, like girls running up on girls and stuff.
Because I always feel like I know I'm not saying it's only guys that steal, but as a girl, why are you stealing?
Yeah, that's mad.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, why are you stealing anyway? But why? Yeah. Like, why are you like? It's a bit like stealing like a. But I don't know. But I feel like there's not so much of like some guys. They might say, "Oh, and the next guy with a fancy watch, this guy thinks he's." But you might see a girl. Some people, not you, but some people might see another girl. Oh, that's a nice dress. But that's about it. You're not gonna listen. You know what? Let's wait till she gets to the toilet. You cover her eyes. I'm gonna rip the dress off. Like, you know,
they probably do it in a violent way, but they have their ways. Like, I think there was an influencer talking about, she went to a concert in London and she left her bag in you know, like the cloakroom, her Chanel bag, and a girl stole it.
Yeah, that's mad.
I know, yeah. And then there was another girl that was also saying she went to a club and she told one girl to hold her Rolex, and then they left the club and they stole her Rolex. So it happens. They just do it. They're not doing it in violent ways. They're just doing it in sly ways, I guess.
Yeah, that's mad. But like I said, this whole I get there's a cost of living and stuff. So people are
cost of living.
It's a jungle. But yeah, I don't know. People need to be careful, man.
Yeah.
But
that conversation just took off.
I know. Sorry, Rebecca. It's been a pleasure, man. Like I didn't even do a proper intro, but thank you. Like I feel like there was a lot to be said about autism and just understanding it and like dispelling the stigmas. So like I said, I came across you on TikTok. I was like, yeah, I like this. So I thank you for agreeing, because I know, again, like it's not something, you know, like it's not a must in it. So I was even thinking, okay, would this be something you should be able to? But obviously, I just thought, because you're sharing it. I mean, it's not to say that because you're sharing it, you want to talk about it. But I thought maybe she would want to have a comment.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean? So like I appreciate that. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, I think it's great. What was I gonna say? But yeah, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to?
I guess guys can just follow me on TikTok. My @ is Rebecca Iku, IKU. And on YouTube as well, I post a lot of videos on there for like any mums who are like new on this journey. There's like videos I post about stuff, potty training, speech delay, things like that. So yeah.
Nice. Well, that's a wrap. That's another one. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. Don't forget to follow on Instagram, Thinking Out Loud Pod _ YouTube. I can't remember the YouTube, but I'm gonna put the link. So yeah, that's a wrap. Rebecca, thank you, man.
Fine, bye.
It's actually